to have been 5 times over the legal limit. Landmark industrial action, more than 540 workers at Portland Aluminium set to strike next week. Advocating for residential rehabilitation ramps up ahead of the state election. And in sport, former Winslow horse trainer Kieran Maher takes out his 3rd training premiership.
Live from Silver Ball Studios in Warrnambool, this is Southwest Local News with Sharna Rogers.
Good evening. A truck driver has been taken to Warrnambool Hospital after a truck rollover in Timboon West. Emergency services were called to Boundary Road just before 7:30am to report of a truck rollover. It's believed the truck, which was carrying grain, collided with a cow before jackknifing and tipping onto its side. The driver was able to free themselves from the vehicle but was taken to hospital as a precaution. Emergency services remained on the scene until the truck was removed from the road and the scene was deemed safe at around 9:30am. Traffic in Colac was disrupted early this morning after a 2-car accident. Emergency services were called to the intersection of Dennis Street and Corangamite Street just after 7am. Luckily, no one was seriously injured and the scene was cleared just after 7:30am. According to CFA, 2 appliances attended as a washaway. Police in Warrnambool have been dumbfounded after discovering a motorist involved in a road accident at Eckland South was more than 5 times over the legal limit. Emergency services responded to a reported single vehicle accident after the car veered off the road, continued through mud before crashing into a tree. The driver, a 22-year-old Camperdown man, allegedly attempted to hide from police before producing an evidentiary breath test of .28. His licence was immediately suspended for 12 months and he is expected to be charged on summons with driving offences. More than 540 workers at Portland Aluminium are set to take part in the largest industrial action in the plant's history after 16 weeks of failed negotiations for better pay and conditions with Alcoa. It comes after heated discussions with Alcoa yesterday before members of the Australian Workers' Union voted unanimously in favour of 48-hour protected industrial action between next Tuesday and Thursday. According to the AWU, rolling 6-hour stoppages will follow if management fails to reach an agreement. Alcoa's Portland smelter generates $560 million in export value annually for Victoria, and according to the union, their workers have earned their conditions through decades of hard work and solidarity.
This has never happened before in the history of the plant. It is an extreme action that the members have voted on. It's because they haven't been heard. And this wasn't all over pay. This was just over mainly some conditions in the end. Even though they probably weren't happy with the 12%, I feel that they probably would have conceded to it, but it's really to do with the conditions that they're trying to strip away. We could have had a handshake deal on this. There's been some major concessions from the national government. You know, there's $2 billion on the table there for aluminium industries. These are concessions that we've really fought through with the AWU to try to get this, to keep this type of manufacturing running and to keep this place viable and make sure that we have a long future here in Portland.
It's a huge issue, and that full interview with Carl Millard can be watched on demand on Facebook and on our app. Police are providing owners of machetes in the southwest a chance to dispose of the weapons. It's part of a statewide machete amnesty, with Warrnambool Police Station listed as one of the places hosting the safe disposal bins. It comes after a spike in crimes around the region, more recently at the Dennington supermarket car park and another in Portland. From September 1st, owning, carrying, using, buying or selling machetes without valid exemption or approval will be a criminal offence. According to Victoria Police, the message is simple: get rid of them or face the consequences. A new study has proved that there has been significant reduction in quad bike deaths across the country. While the initial findings are preliminary, they show that the 4-year total of work-related quad bike deaths peaked in 2016 and 17, but dropped last year after new safety measures were introduced. In 2021, new legislation was passed to enforce that all vehicles needed to meet a stability standard to reduce rollovers and were to be fitted with an operation protector to reduce crush and asphyxiation injuries. While the figures are pleasing, Ag Health Australia is hoping that more is to be done to help reduce serious injuries or deaths in rural areas. The state opposition continues to push the Allan Labor government on its response to the Victorian drought. In Parliament, member for South West Coast Roma Britnell condemned the Premier and accused her government's relief package of being inadequate and a delayed response. It comes as farmers hit by the drought across the southwest have only begun receiving discounts over the past few weeks. According to the MP, our farmers feed Victoria and deserve much more than platitudes. They deserve respect, real support and action. As next year's state government election draws closer, so does the hope that funding will be allocated for a residential rehabilitation centre in southwest Victoria. Supporters of the Lookout project have been advocating for a residential alcohol and drug rehabilitation centre in Warrnambool for over a decade. At the previous state government election, the Liberal Party pledged funding for the project if it was elected, but it didn't achieve bipartisan support. Speaking to Fitzmedia's Good Chat, RAD CEO Mark Powell discussed how support for the centre hasn't waned and the resolve of the Lookout Committee is stronger than ever.
We're the last region now in the state to get a residential rehab, and that's what we've been pushing for, as you know, for a lot of years. I think take a lot of pride in what RAD deliver as a service in terms of integrated care. So we have the bulk billing medical practice, we have the psych registrars on site, we have a psychologist there a day a week, we have the clinical team that are delivering a range of clinical interventions for AOD in a community-based setting. What we don't have is a residential stay. For some people, it is hard to make the change. Dealing with addiction is a really challenging space for some people, and so the idea of being able to get into a residential facility where you're away from all those triggers and stimulus that in your environment gives you an opportunity to have a clear head, to learn the skills you need to learn to make positive lifestyle change. That's why we would argue for a residential rehab. It's an evidence-based treatment approach that we just don't have in the southwest. So if you're struggling with dependence and needing to seek that kind of more intensive level of care, the only options are to go out of area. And one of the things, going back to why I'm really passionate for this to be on country and in our region, is not only for First Nations people to be doing it in a safe, culturally safe environment that fits with their culture, but also for a mainstream service like us to provide that wraparound care to the family, the support system, so that when that person leaves that environment, they're going into the support system are more engaged, more aware. They've had a chance to be a part of that treatment journey because it's happening locally, as opposed to having to ring a phone line down in Melbourne to see how your loved one's going. There's capacity to do all of this stuff on site and in region.
Up to Hamilton now, and thousands are expected to attend sheep benching over the weekend, with Sharna, the star attraction, at a drought relief concert as part of the annual event. The two-day expo kicks off on Sunday with hundreds of trade stalls and exhibitions before sheep benching after dark, a drought relief concert featuring the Australian Idol star. Noel will also take part in a panel discussion about the importance of mental health alongside Let's Talk Abby Power, member for Warrnambool, and Fitzmedia's own Liam Fitzgerald. The event continues on Monday with another day of trade talks, livestock displays and interactive displays featuring the latest in ag technology. Let's Talk's Abby Power says the mental health of our agri-sector is more front of mind than ever before, and for some, this event will be a much-needed day out.
Tickets are selling really fast, so make sure that you do get your tickets for the event at 123tix.com. That's where you can get those. In the same spot you get your sheep benching tickets as well. We have some musicians playing earlier in the night. We've got Michael Honan and Beck Milley, so local musos coming along. Then we've got our discussion panel, and then Shannon's ending the night with some amazing tunes. So there'll be drinks, there'll be there's actually an auction happening as well. So we've got a silent auction and a live auction. We've we've brought in a really well-known auctioneer to auction off some goods too. So all the funds raised from the auctions go directly to Let's Talk. And what we're doing is putting that money back into the Hamilton community. Fantastic. And we're going to deliver mental health education and mental health first aid here in Hamilton.
From one music star to another local superstar now, and Warrnambool-based hip-hop artist GK will join country music star Troy Casadei on stage at the concert in Tennant Creek this weekend. She'll take to the stage at the popular Desert Harmony Festival, which will also be broadcast on 8CCC and the National Radio Network. GK has developed a cult following since she began performing, culminating in a breakthrough performance at the Port Fairy Folk Festival. A local cafe will donate $1 from every coffee sold next Friday to a fundraising effort called Street Smart. Rough Diamond has participated in the event for the past 5 years to help Street Smart provide emergency aid, housing support and food relief for people experiencing homelessness. According to owner Henry Bird, Street Smart also provides employment pathways and mental health services. He says it's a small thing that we can do, a part of a huge issue, particularly in the southwest Victoria.
All they've got to do is buy a coffee and we do the donating, so it's an easy way to help out, and I think this time of year it's a great opportunity to do it because the cold mornings, the freezing nights, it just highlights how tough it would be if you were sleeping rough.
Finally, applications are being taken for the Future Folk program. It's the 5th year the music program has been held thanks to support from the Moyne Shire Council's Amplify program. The program is delivered in partnership with the Port Fairy Folk Festival and Amplify with funding from the Victorian Government. To apply, people interested can visit the Port Fairy Folk Festival's website. That wraps up general news. Before we take a break, it's time to catch up with Meg from the Warrnambool City Council.
Thanks, Sharna. This winter, invite your friends and family to stay at Victoria's top tourism town, Warrnambool. Stay just steps away from the sea at Surfside Holiday Park with cosy cabins and a special winter offer. Stay 3 nights, pay for 2, and add on extra nights at a discounted rate if you'd like. Here you can explore Australia's #1 esplanade, now also a part of Time Out's top-rated scenic cycling routes across the country, beating out trails across Queensland and in Melbourne and Adelaide. Grab a coffee at the kiosk, then wander across the road to Lake Patobe. If you brought the kids, let them run wild while you fire up a barbecue and soak in the scenery. Don't forget Flagstaff Hill Maritime Village, just at the top of the hill from Surfside Holiday Park, where locals can attend for free with their ambassador passes. Whether it's a weekend getaway or a midweek recharge, invite your friends and family to come stay by the sea and embrace just a snippet of what Warrnambool has to offer this winter.
Sheepvention Rural Expo is back, bringing our community together over 2 fantastic days with agri-trade displays, workshops, competitions and demonstrations spanning all areas of agricultural practice. We've got local food trucks, fresh produce displays and amazing innovations. And don't forget all the fun and excitement with an animal petting zoo, working sheepdog trials, kids face painting and sheep displays. There's something for the whole family at Sheepvention.
G'day, I'm Alex Dyson, your independent candidate for Warrnambool, here to get a better deal for Southwest Victoria. Whether it's
fighting the rising cost of living,
better roads to connect our community,
to get full funding for public schools,
and finally making our region's voice heard in Canberra. So if you want someone who listens, not lectures, and someone who's focused on local actions, not party factions, then join us. And together, we can get
a better deal for Warrnambool.
Authorised by Alex Dyson, Warrnambool.
VG Cabinets is your specialist cabinetry team, servicing Warrnambool and surrounding areas. With over 20 years experience, the team here can get your cabinetry needs sorted. Housing a CNC router to make sure all the cuts in the workshop are accurate for a perfect install on site. VG Cabinets cover all areas, including kitchens, vanities, laundries, flat packs, stone bench tops and new homes and renovations. We offer free quotes on any job, so don't hesitate to call Lee on 0408 580 991.
If you're buying or selling a home, Gleeson Real Estate are here to help. The hard-working team at Gleeson are happy to support you right through the buying and selling process. Gleeson Real Estate, friendly faces, expert local knowledge.
Pepper's Pizza is now open with a fresh new menu. Pepper's has vegetarian, vegan and gluten-free options, as well as low-carb pizza bases and a variety of family favourite sides. With online ordering now available, ordering couldn't be easier. Pepper's Pizza, open 7 days.
Tonight's sport is proudly brought to you by Nutrient Ag Solutions, Warrnambool and Timboon. Getting the most out of your farm. Contact the team today.
Time to take a look at some local sport now. First in horse racing, former Winslow trainer Kieran Maher has taken out his third National Trainers Premiership. It caps off one of his stable's most successful years, achieving more than 330 wins, including 10 Group 1s. It was also one of the biggest earning years for the multiple Grand Annual Steeplechase winner, netting over $60 million. Speaking on his Facebook page, an emotional Kieran spoke of the sacrifices he and his family have made to get to where he is today.
There's a lot of sacrifice. Jeez. Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice, and you know, there's big rewards, but you know, sacrifices. But
To netball, Pamua's Rihanna Bidmaid will celebrate her 250th senior netball game for the Pamua Bulldogs. Bidmaid is in her 15th senior netball season, with highlights including a B-grade league best and fairest in 2014. 2014 proved to be a memorable one for Rihanna, having also stepped up to play in the A-grade premiership on debut. The proud Bulldog also has multiple club achievements and says she is extremely proud to wear the red and blue and white for game 250 tomorrow.
I'll play until my body stops. I love it. I have severe white line fever, so I get on that court and it's just, yeah, I love it. So I'll keep on going until I can't. We all look after each other. You rock up there and you feel so much at home. You can have a crappy day and rock up and everyone's happy to see you.
In District League football, a top-of-the-table clash between Merivale and Allensford will determine who could finish on top of the ladder tomorrow. The Cats have made some changes to the side, with some solid firepower coming back into the side to bolster their already deep lineup. Perhaps one of the biggest stories of the day could be star forward Robbie Hare notching up his 100th goal of the season for a second consecutive year. According to Cats coach Tim Knoll, the bigger ground at Merivale suits his hard-running side and feels that the boys are looking sharp ahead of the blockbuster content.
Yeah, the depth is really good, and look, you know, there's two young lads that, you know, miss out this week. They're back to the twos. I see them probably in our best 21 at the back end of the year, but just to, you know, find a bit of form, and one's been on holidays, and you know, but we can go pick a side on a Thursday night and still be confident in what we're picking. And I think it was in the paper, you know, I said, you know, it's really hard. This is what you want as a coach, right? You want to have the depth, and, you know, you're leaving good players in the twos week in, week out. And it comes down to have us as coaches made the right call on player selection. So it's a real positive to have it, but I tell you what, like, you know, there's sleepless nights on have you picked the right side, you know, because we know there is genuine senior footballers playing in our two side.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You see, especially as you get towards the pointy end of the year, and you pretty much answered the question, but you're making some changes for this week, obviously.
Yeah, we had to we've made some changes. Obviously, Bully, you know, missed with a bit of a niggle, so Bully comes back in. Benny Mack was away for work, and Kay Gordon, you know, had a bit of a niggle. So again, we've been lucky enough that when we have these little things popping up, we've been able to rest these players, get them right for the bigger games, and again, you know, like the two young lads that, as I said, I feel, you know, will probably be in our side towards the back end of the year, depending on the game, depending on the weather. So we've got the quality of players now that we can go select a side based on weather conditions, ground that we're playing on, you know, a few different things. So, you know, there's probably 4 or 5 blokes that are playing in the twos that could fit into our senior side, depending on where we're playing and who we're playing and what the weather conditions are.
And of course, you'll be able to watch that game on Warrnambool District Football Netball League game day tomorrow from 1:45. Still with football, Timboon Demons and Cavendish go head-to-head in the Western Victorian Female Footy League Grand Final on Sunday. The Bloods appeared in the Grand Final 2 years ago, but went down to South Warrnambool in a hard-fought contest. After dropping out of the race in last year's elimination final, the girls are hungrier than ever to win the premiership, especially for outgoing defender Chloe Bell. The grand finals kick off at 10:15 on Sunday with the under-15 decider before the under-18s at 12:05 and the senior clash at 2:10. Finally, in the Coates Talent League competition, 3 local players will make their debut for the Greater Western Victoria Rebels tomorrow. Hamilton Kangaroo Jack Sobey, South Warrnambool's Leo Allerton and Koroyd's Austin Lloyd will take to the field. The Rebels take on the Western Jets at Arden Street. That's all in sport. It was a pleasant day, but it was a cold one around the region, and we'll come back and I'll have the final 3-day forecast of the week.
DCM Automotive is your local automotive specialist. Based in central Warrnambool, DCM provide a full range of automotive services, from general servicing through to computer diagnostics and fault finding. DCM do it all. Call Daryl today.
Coastline Cut and Core is your only concrete cutting and coring specialist in the southwest. Demolition works, renovation modifications and repairs and maintenance of damaged concrete. Coastline Cut and Core does it all. Contact myself, Harley Higgins, today.
Sheepvention Rural Expo is back, bringing our community together over 2 fantastic days with agri-trade displays, workshops, competitions and demonstrations spanning all areas of agricultural practice. We've got local food trucks, fresh produce displays and amazing innovations. And don't forget all the fun and excitement with an animal petting zoo, working sheepdog trials, kids face painting and sheep displays. There's something for the whole family at Sheepvention.
If it's time to add a little magic to your flooring and windows, our online catalogue is full of great ideas at great prices. There's magic in a Solomon's floor.
Yes, Grace, and there's magic in a Solomon's store.
At SHB Wealth Advisors, we believe in empowering our clients to own their future. We do this by partnering with the best financial advisors to deliver great advice. We are part of your local community and are active supporters of sporting clubs throughout Warrnambool and Port Fairy, providing a range of wealth advice to assist you with every aspect of your financial situation. SHB Wealth Advisors. Investing in our community, investing in you.
Tonight's weather report is proudly brought to you by Anchor Point Retirement Village. New homes are being built now. Book a tour today.
Today in Warrnambool, a top of 14 degrees with light winds. We had a foggy start to the day with a slight chance of a shower. A slow-moving high-pressure system over the Southern Ocean extends a ridge south of Victoria. A cool southeasterly flow airstream will persist across Victoria until the weekend. Now to the forecast, a top of 14 degrees tomorrow in Port Fairy with a partly cloudy day and a foggy start. On Sunday, a mostly sunny day with overnight temperatures dropping to as low as 2. On Monday, 2 millimetres and a partly cloudy day with a top of 17 degrees. Inland to Mortlake, a top of 14 degrees with areas of morning frost, a slight chance of a shower. On Sunday, a mostly sunny day with light winds and a top of 16 degrees. Monday, 3 millimetres expected to fall with 40-kilometre winds with a top of 17. In Camperdown tomorrow, a cloudy day with a top of 13 and a chance of morning fog with light winds. On Sunday, a chance of morning fog and a mostly sunny afternoon, a top of 16. Showers on Monday with a mostly sunny day, also a top of 16. In Port Campbell, 1 millimetre with a top of 13 degrees tomorrow. A chance of morning fog and morning frost on Sunday with a partly cloudy day, topping at 15 degrees. Monday, 2 millimetres, 40-kilometre winds and a top of 17. Tomorrow in Warrnambool, a top of 15 degrees with a chance of morning fog and a slight chance of a shower. Sunday, mostly sunny and 16. Monday, conditions are to change with 2 millimetres and a top of 17. That's all from Friday's edition of Southwest Local News, and we'll update you again on Monday. Until then, have a safe and great weekend. With peace, good night.